How do you see President Xi in relation to the election of President Trump?
I think in some ways the two men are rather similar, actually. Both men come from privileged backgrounds. They both went to the masses. They went around the traditional political elites, attacked traditional political elites, and sought a populist base. And they both want to make their countries great again, right? So there are a few similarities there, maybe authoritarian tendencies. But obviously, Xi Jinping is preaching an internationalist vision, while President Trump has generally preached a nationalist vision. Again, I think it matters how China delivers on that internationalism. I think Xi Jinping has been very quick to step up, for example, at Davos last January, and say that China is going to be a defender of globalization, right? And we will remain open. Well, the Chinese economy is much less open than the U.S. economy. He doesn't allow for the free flow of capital. He doesn't allow for the free flow of information or ideas. The internet is heavily blocked. So it's one thing to say, rhetorically, we will defend globalization. It's another to do it. And so I think increasingly the international community will be looking to Xi Jinping to see whether or not he lives up to all of his, big words and claims. I would posit that if Xi Jinping were really ready to lead, for example, he would be looking to forge an agreement on the tragedy right in his backyard, the Rohingya, in Myanmar, right? The refugee crisis. But China's been virtually silent on that.
Well, China, from what I understand, has always put such a high focus on sovereignty and staying out of other countries' political affairs. And to my knowledge, there is no sign that is going to change.
Right. Well, it's one thing to say, you can't interfere in my domestic affairs. It's another to say, I'm not going to step up and take an active role in shaping or forging a global agreement to deal with the problem of refugees, for example. That doesn't require necessarily that you intercede directly in others' internal affairs. It does require that you think beyond your own immediate interests, right, to the broader interests of humanity.
It also needs to require that you believe, as the Chinese leader and the world's second largest economy, that you should be a moral leader. And do you see any signs that President Xi has interest in filling the moral leadership vacuum that some would say has been left by the United States in the election of Donald Trump?
I think it's impossible for President Xi to fill a moral vacuum when China remains a country that arrests its activists, arrests its feminists, arrests its writers, and artists, and people that voice dissenting views. I don't know how you get to be a moral leader when you yourself don't defend the rights of your own people within your own boundaries.